Welcome everyone to another episode of Cryptid Mysteries. If you haven't subscribed, please do so and share the videos with your friends and family and whoever else. And hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of all our weekly videos. I came across this story, and it goes something like this. For the last 5 years, whoever was available as family, we would stay at the rental towers on the United States Forestry Service rental system. This particular 4-day, 3-night stay involved July 29th to August 1st. This lookout is on a concrete block base with one flight of stairs going up the east side. On this particular visit, my wife, Rose Marie, and son, Adrian, are with me. The location of the fire lookout is approximately 12 miles from the Canadian border and about 14 miles southwest of Eureka, Montana. As the crow flies, we crossed at the port of Roseville. Lake Canis sits below the tower just to the east. It is Webb Mountain Lookout. This all began on Friday around 6 p.m. Wanting to take an initial picture just west of the tower, I heard a single knock on a tree just to the south. 2 minutes later, a second knock. The sky was clear and the weather was hot and excellent. A light breeze coming up from the forest. On my way back to the tower, I began to smell something different. Not like a skunk, but a distant odor, maybe like rotten eggs. I see Adrian standing on the catwalk on the west side, and before I say anything, he asked me if I smelled something funny. I found this interesting because he was catching the same thing. A few minutes later, we wanted to explore a ridge west of the tower. It seemed to be an excellent place for a predator such as a bear or a cat to sit. It was shelved somewhat, and the area below, we thought, would be a great place for deer to come up, and they did just that every day. Adrian was present near the edge, with myself about 40 feet away. I had my back to him. I heard the tail end of something from the south. He heard the whole thing. When I reached him, he had goosebumps and tears in his eyes. He asked me if I heard that. I asked him what it sounded like. He told me it was like a woman's high-pitched scream. We both felt a little nervous, so we went back to the tower. He suggested putting a large metal fire screen in front of the walkway below. We did just that. I figured we didn't need a cat coming up the stairs, and I didn't want to cry Bigfoot. As every day there, the deer was there the next morning, and a buck keeping an eye on everything. A day in the Catskills, we were back at the lookout and went to bed around 12 a.m. The conditions were very dark at the time, with a clear sky, and the stars seemed just off the deck. A light breeze was present as well. At approximately 2 a.m., I woke to my wife's cell phone beeping. The battery was low. I sat up and was going to tell her to shut it down. Within 2 minutes' time, I heard the padlock on the steel door below us. It was being fiddled with. From what I have gathered, the room below is for storage of firewood. You have to walk up 2 concrete stairs on the outside and stand on the concrete walk. Then you have to reach up and tamper with the lock. I was not happy ruling out a number of things it could be. Then I could hear something moving around down below on the rocks. This type of material makes quite a racket. Much of the area around this tower is rock. I immediately woke up Adrian and asked him quietly to listen. I had noticed a beer bottle just to the east of the tower during the day. Whatever was out there then came in contact with the beer bottle, moving it aside. Then we both heard the visitor wandering around outside on the rock surface. While all this was going on, my wife had been up and now was sleeping again. I'm sure glad she felt protected, because we didn't. Adrian and I watched the catwalk like a hawk. We were quietly debating what to do about this. We couldn't see anything outside. We actually put something up against the door. Now to the south side of the tower, something was moving a rock and moving around as well. Very quickly, it seemed to jump from one level of the ground to the next, maybe 4 feet in height, difference between levels of ground. It bothered both Adrian and I, coming down with a huge thump. We could feel the damn vibration inside the lookout. It continued moving around outside. I noticed that Adrian, over time, had just fallen asleep. During this time, I heard what I thought to be a type of gargle from the throat of something. I again had woke up Adrian. He had slept about 5 minutes. The rocks were still being stepped on outside and around us. And then we received something we couldn't understand. Something whistled on the east side of the lookout, down below. We both looked at each other. Was there more than one outside? At that point, we threw out the window the idea of going outside on the deck. We didn't know what we were up against and wouldn't risk our loved ones. I was actually telling Adrian at the time that those outside didn't know how many of us there were, at least hopefully. I didn't think it was men now, because of the sheer weight that had come down during the jump. A quarter moon came out during all of this. This whole episode lasted almost an hour and 45 minutes. With a hint of morning light coming, it disappeared into the night. What struck me as funny, whatever it was, seemed to use the rock most of the time to walk on. We found no tracks in the morning, no human tracks, other than ours, and no large animal. That morning I remember that my wife had read some of the visitors' notes and short stories in the logbook. I left one as well. Some do, most don't. I began to read their stories. On July 19, 2003 to July 20th, 2003, the dogs were barking in the window in the middle of the night. Something was down there, but I couldn't see it. July 9, 2005, we came souped up for war, yet ran in fear of two shiny eyes in the dark that reflected off our flashlights. On Sunday, Adrian and I put our heads to the grind. We did not want another night like this. We fixed 8 different locations with pieces of cantaloupe, placing them on the rising rock so that the little creatures could get them. 3 of these places, I gently smoothed dirt around for possible tracks. Trip spots were set up, and things put up that would slow something down at least. We timed ourselves in the tower. We could get out, look over the deck with the lights and camera in 3.5 seconds. The night before, we really knew where little was at the time. We only had hunting knives and bear spray. Luckily, Americans, they get to carry guns. 5 large cut logs were placed at the top of the stairs. The fire screen still blocked below. We did what we could to hinder anything coming back, even trying to cut off a key escape route. We figured something would try to use the area just to the south. It was the fastest way out. The next morning, nothing. 1 piece of fruit was missing, but the deer were back. Their prints almost moved up to one of the other traps. Adrian actually asked me that morning if something could have watched us set the traps and bait the area. Smart kid, I know. Getting back to Calgary on Monday, I was still looking for answers. I went to the BFRO site. I played a number of clips for AJ. In 1973, Washington State clip was his answer. It had a piece in there that was close to what we heard. Then I continued with the possibility of any other sightings in that area in the past, still with just the BFRO. I came up with the Lincoln County 1978 vocalization encounter near Libya, Montana. It's about 25 miles away from the tower. There was also a note to this witness in the same area in August 2014. They were camping. They heard rocks being clanked together most of the night. I have tried the best I can to try to give the reader an idea of what had transpired. We will be going up there again. I think a little bit more manpower will help us ease our worry and tension next time. This was the first lookout in 5 years that something could actually reach you on the walk. The others we had stayed at had a trap door on the wooden towers, and the others a big steel door that you had to enter through. I'll remember this. Now that seemed like an eventful night. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're going to have these stories each week and have a lot of fun with it. And if you have one of your own stories that you want to submit to us for narration, then just submit it to our email address. It'll come up on the end of the video. And subscribe to our channel and notification bell for new and up and coming stories. And please share the video if you like it. Well, have a great week, guys.